Hi everybody, it's Kimberly and I'm back with your Twin Flame Family Collective Twin Flame reading. I am using a new deck this week and I am guided to only use this deck. It's a really beautiful deck. It is the Lover's Path Tarot and it's by Chris Walder. And he also does the Goddess Tarot, if you guys have heard of that or have that deck. So a lot of these cards, actually, especially from the major arcana, they have the stories, the love stories of ancient and century-old myths and tales and fables. And these are beautiful stories that help us remember what the truth is and how we're connected to our divinity. So I really like that. And it's interesting because 3 of the major arcana cards came up for this week's reading for the collective. So for those of you who are new to the channel, I'm Kimberly and I am a soul coach and a twin flame journeyer myself. I work with twin flames as well as those in the ascension process who are seeking to clear blocks and to really get on their healing work or their self-work, their self-guided work. And we do that through intuitive guidance, soul coaching, and I want to tell everybody, my audience, that I've just put up a service on the website for couples. So if you are a twin flame couple who's not in harmonious union, but you're playing out something in this dynamic right now, and both partners are open to talking, or both partners are seeking guidance or advice, this is a session that might be good for you. Or it could be that you are in union and that there's some struggles and you're looking for the guidance, both intuitive guidance as well as the guidance for your enlightenment and ascension. So feel free to check that out on the twinflamefamily.com. And also don't forget, there's the August 8th Transforming Your Wounded Warrior into a Divine Feminine Goddess workshop. You can sign up for that now. People are already booking and spots are filling up. So that's on the website again, the twinflamefamily.com. Click on schedule a session. Okay, so into this week's reading. A lot here. So what's coming up for both of the twins in the collective is this notion of innocence, okay? And I'm going to hold this card up because it's so beautiful. This is like the Fool card in tarot, in traditional tarot, in the Rider-Waite deck. And this is, they're reminding us of the story of Tamino and Pamina. And I really feel like, I'm going to read you what that's about, but I really feel like this is about that the truth will set you free. And some of us have been living a bit in what we want to believe and keeping some blinders on to things, mostly ourselves. So this isn't related to, although this is the shared energy for the twins, this is not, as I'm speaking to you who is watching this is not about your twin. This is about you going back to that sort of childlike state, that innocence, and taking those blinders off. Remember I said in my last video, there are things we just don't want to look at in ourselves. There are pieces of our healing that our ego just won't let us see, or just wants to reject or push away. And this is about admitting the truth and seeing everything. And from that, we become humbled, right? And they're saying, go back into that innocence where our ego isn't resistant, and we're like, no, I'm not doing that, or no, that's not my problem, that's his or hers. And stop pointing the fingers and go back to this piece of you that is open to learning, is thirsting for the knowledge, is really hungry for the awareness, because you know it's going to help you get to the next level of your healing. And this is what this card represents for the collective, I feel, for this week and for the upcoming energies of the month, actually. This is very much about taking the blinders off and knowing that the truth will set you free. And the freedom is almost, not only do we have to be childlike in our learning, like you kind of have to go into your learning of, like when you're working on your self-mastery, you have to go into it in such a way that it's almost like no one's ever told you anything before. So that way we don't put up the resistance to what we're hearing. Or if you're working with a healer or a guide and they tell you some sort of a truth that's coming through from spirit, that you don't push it away. That's that. Now, when we step into our healing, there's another type of innocence that's going to come through as well. And that's the innocence that's going to bring us back to love, to real, true love. Anything is possible, trusting in everything, and almost being foolish in a way, because you don't need to overthink things. There's nothing you need to know about what's going to happen or what's to come. It's more about letting go and just la 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 la. Everything's coming my way. Everything's lining up for me. I'm in total trust and I am in love, and reflecting that love back to everyone in my path, regardless of where you're at in your twin flame journey. So let me read you a bit about Tamino and Pamina. And this is, again, a beautiful story, and it's a good reminder. I'll only read you the 3 major arcana cards, so bear with me. So they're saying that the Magic Flute was the last opera Mozart had composed before his death in 1791. Some of its fairy tale plot was derived from and inspired from the Rites of Freemasons, which was a secret society into which Mozart had been initiated. The Magic Flute tells of a princess named Pamina and a prince named Tamino who learned to trust their hearts, innocent and inexperienced as they may be. So I really think this is about pushing out the knowledge or the old beliefs or the ego bullshit that's keeping us outside of our truth, right? It's about going back to our heart space, stopping the overthinking, and really just basking in that, like, I'm in trust, I'm in love with all and everything. And so the meaning of this card, it says that this is the start of a great journey, innocence that allows one to be open to all possibilities, and this will help you face your fears and trust your heart. So very, very key for the twins. I want to add to that and say that I've found, especially the Divine Feminine in the past few weeks, has been learning new ways to educate herself about how to shift perspective and how to face her truth about what she needs to work on. And I find a lot of the feminine are going to books and classes. And I have to say that this is really good, because it's showing that you're open to learning something new, that you want the new perspective, that you're going into it with new eyes, that you're not just stuck in the old patterns of the old thinking. And these new people that you meet, these new teachers, this new information in these books, whatever you're reading, this is really good stuff that's going to help you get back to you. Whatever you're guided to, whatever you put your hands on, whatever class you're inclined to take, this is all in alignment for you. Okay? So, for the masculine, I have balance as coming up. Okay? And this is Venus and Vulcan. And I want to hold that card up so you can see how beautiful it is. Okay, the screen's a little grainy. Sorry, it's not as light in here as I'd like it to be. Probably should have put on another lamp, but we are where we are, and I'm going to read you about balance and then kind of give you my take on what this means for this week's energy. So, again, it's Venus and Vulcan, and this is the Temperance card, as we know in the Tarot deck, and it's all about harmony, self-control, equilibrium, and artistry. Venus was first worshipped as a nature goddess associated with the arrival of spring, only later gaining notoriety for her sensual exploits. To balance her natural exuberance, the gods wed her to Vulcan, the lame god of the forge. Venus did not appreciate her husband's skillful craftsmanship, and she did not hesitate to share her affections with others. Despite this, Venus and Vulcan's marriage endured. Each was necessary to the other, as opposites often are. So the meaning in this is integration and moderation, balance between opposites, union of the conscious and unconscious aspects of the psyche. So one of the things that I feel like this is representing for the masculine for this upcoming week in the energy is that he's beginning to balance the polarities within. That means his masculine and feminine within in a new way, in a way in which he is stepping up in his masculine. He's taking a stand. He's working towards something. There's a lot of movement around him right now. And some of this is to avoid the emotions that he's going to tap into in a few weeks. And that will help him delve into and come into touch with his inner divine feminine. So I feel like for him, it's one piece at a time right now. And it's almost like the focus on the material, the focus on the work, the focus on the being busy, the focus on the activity is really helping him like step up, make things happen, move towards a goal, and step into a more, taking initiative type role. And that's going to feel good to him. And that's good because he's going to need that later in August when he starts to integrate the two, right? The heart center, the emotions that he's tapped into, and the action center. So this is that first step, and I feel him very much in action right now, in busy mode, in do mode, in initiator mode. It's like he's trying it on for size if he hasn't, or if he's lost that for a while. Not all masculine, but many in the collective. And this is going to be very healthy for him because although right now it's in a way an avoidance of the emotional aspects, this is also going to be key when he goes to integrate. And that's what this card is about. It's about balancing those polarities and the integration of these opposites. And in a few weeks, I feel like in July, maybe around the time of the portal that we're going into, or maybe around full moon, like between the 10th and the 17th, I would say, he is going to move into a more emotional heart space and start to face some of the emotional aspects he's been avoiding. But he has to step up into his masculine before he's ready to step into his feminine. There's just some sort of a weird split right now for the masculine that I feel like is going to get integrated by August for many of the masculine, as I've been saying. So very interesting. For the feminine, it's Dana and Zeus. Okay, beautiful. And the Fortune card is coming up, and this is the Fortune in Tarot, in the traditional Tarot deck. And let me read you the Fortune. Okay, so Dana and Zeus. It's about chance, fate, expansion, prosperity. King Acrisius had a daughter named Dana, a princess with a curse. For upon her birth, it was predicted that one of the princess's offspring would kill the king. When she came of age, the king walled her within a tower made of bronze. Despite this, she was loved by Zeus, and together they had a son named Perseus. Perseus grew into a strong man, and after many adventures, he did slay Acrisius, a just punishment for treating his only daughter so cruelly. So what this card represents is just positive faith and the generosity of the universe, the ability to be open to abundance, awareness of beauty, and love. For the feminine, and this is beautiful, this is about, despite the circumstances, push through. Because underneath the feminine is the 9 of staves. Okay, this is like the 9 of wands. And this is about pushing through for you. This is about pushing through any heaviness, pushing through the fear, pushing through any muckiness. This is going to give way for the feminine to more abundance. She's in a lot of fear right now, I feel. But it's shifting. It's like it's this beautiful transformation, and it's shifting right now. And she's working through that. And they're saying, they're saying the way that you push through is to surrender. So it's not by forcing. They're saying, to take a pause and allow it to flow. Okay, so yeah, it's more of that. It's more instead of they're saying to work through your fear. Yeah, work through your fear. Work through the resistance that you've created from within. But it's not about pushing. It's about in releasing that and working through it and then releasing it and letting it go. This abundance is on its way. This fate. Trust in what the universe is bringing you. Trust in the new opportunities. Trust in it because it's on its way. Under the masculine, we have the 5 of arrows, okay? And this is like, I feel like it's strained communication. It's the feminine trying to latch on to the masculine, and he's just like staying focused on what he's got to do, and he doesn't want to have that communication just yet. And this may even be a pulling away for the masculine, like those have been in communication might pull away again. But I promise you it's because he's finding a greater balance within himself. And that's huge. So masculine, if you're watching this video, go into that space and recognize what's happening. Where is your focus? Why? What's driving you right now? What is missing from this equation? What are you shutting out? What are you not listening to? And for the feminine, I feel like it's about what are you holding on to that's holding you back? Let that go. That resistance, the fear. Because on the other side of that, without having to push or force, you're going to be in a receiving mode. And a lot of stuff is going to flow to you. Abundance, joy. Remember, go back to the innocence and this, I'm letting life come to me. I'm allowing my soul to line up with things, not from a fear-based energetic space, but from a being in my truth, not clinging to the old beliefs, releasing all of that. And I feel above this, we've got the 4 of arrows, which is indicating that there's a needed time for rest, for quiet. And I feel it's related to the twins, too. There's a reason why the masculine doesn't want to interact with the feminine. And you can see that's sort of the dynamic in this artwork. And it's interesting because that's really what I'm picking up on. Like, he's going to have to go, and she needs to rest. She needs to just let go and be still and be in the momentum of her own life and her own like flow and her own learning and healing. And he needs to go do his thing. So there is a bit of a feeling of separation, and but it's necessary for the healing. Like both are healing at a much deeper level right now. And I'm sure you feel that. Because the feminine is shifting out of her old ways, and so is the masculine. It's kind of weird because I haven't had, and it may not appear that way in the physical, like you're like, why isn't my twin flame talking to me? And why do I feel so stuck, right? Why do I feel like everything's like mucky or resistant? But I'm telling you, it's because you're going to break through to more balance, right? Integrating the polarities, the masculine, feminine balance for the masculine, and this abundance that's coming for the feminine, as well as a whole new beginning for both, in which the old hurts of the past and the old beliefs we're not chained to them anymore. It's like we're more entrenched in our truth. We're actually walking in our truth. We're not just like, standing outside of it or grabbing for pieces of it. We're like actually walking in our truth. And for some of us, feminine, like I'm just thinking of myself for a moment, it's about saying, no, I can't do this anymore this way. I gotta just take the time for me, and you need the time for you, and let's take this space for ourselves so that all the energy can renew and that we can get in alignment with ourselves, rather than you can't line up with one another if you're not in alignment with yourself. And when there's been turmoil, push-pull, as there always is in the twin flame dynamic, in contact, out of contact, push-pull, turmoil, fighting, arguing, resistance, all that stuff that needs to be cleansed right now. And it's not going to be cleansed through taking action towards one another. It's going to be cleansed by taking action on ourselves, on our healing, on the allowing things to flow, on the trusting, on the stepping into our divine masculine and the stepping into our feminine power. That is how we are being guided right now. So follow this. Underneath all of this, I have the 5 of Cups, which is just that, again, it's like that disappointment, that feeling of heartbreak, that this didn't go the way I wanted it to. And I think for twin flames, this is, we're focusing on the 3D too much. We're looking at the 3D and we're going, well, this is definitive. Now I just got to get over it. No, you've got to let go. You've got to let go of the expectation. And like I said in my last video, it's about really going into your emotions. Okay? And this is really about stepping into these emotions without the thoughts of this is the way it's going to be. So you ask me, how do you grieve without thinking, oh, this is a death? Well, it is a death of sorts. It's a death because the old way of being is ending. No matter what. When we go back into ourselves and realign with our own truth and our own healing and claim our divine power, it's a death. Right? It's an end to the old beliefs, the old ways of being. It's a stepping into our truth, which is a new phase and a new beginning. And for many twins, this can appear in the 3D like a separation or a pulling away, but it's only necessary to do our work. And this feeling of disappointment, how do you cope with it? Things didn't go the way that I wanted to. Well, listen to that. Things didn't go the way I wanted to, the way I expected. Remember that this is not about what you want or you expect or what is good for your timing. Take you out of the equation in terms of how the universe is going to orchestrate this for you and let it be orchestrated. Know that your soul is guiding you. So this is supposed to be happening, even though it appears as a disappointment, or it appears as like something's not coming through, or that it's like that resistant energy of the divine masculine not, you know, wanting to communicate with the divine feminine the way that she wants, or but this is going to, we have to look at this differently. This is about shifting our inner perspective of, well, this is the way things are. So it's not like that. It's not saying this is the way things are and I need to wallow in the disappointment and wallow in the fact that it didn't happen on my time or the way I wanted it to, or I want this now, and why isn't this happening? What they're saying is go into the emotions, though. Go into the emotion of it. Feel the sadness, feel the anger, let it flow through you, and then come to a place of recognizing that you are stepping now into truth, into allowance, into trust, and know that your soul has chosen for this to not be right now. So it's not really a disappointment. It's all being orchestrated, and your soul is orchestrating it for you. It knows which way to go. It knows, both of your souls do, okay? So allow things to be, acknowledge where things are at without wallowing in the acceptance of what is, okay? And so that means you got to let go, and you've got to sort of, if things feel like they're ending for now, well, then let it go. All the expectation, mourn it, and work through the emotions rather than masking them. No more masking, whether it's alcohol or some other form of escapism, like binge watching movies even is a good example of escapism. Ways that we just don't want to deal with our emotions and we escape, right? So they're saying go into the emotions, and when you do, you're going to cleanse things, and you're going to walk out with more of an innocence of like, I'm surrendered. I'm surrendered. This is happening. I can't fight it. I can't change it. It's not about acceptance. It's about allowance. And I'm going to come out of my own delusions that this is all about him or her, and recognize there's stuff I need to do, right? I got to get going. I got work to do. I got flow coming to me. I've got new truths to discover, new classes to take, new books to read. And for the masculine, it's like he's got a goal, he's got mission, he's got things that he's trying to accomplish, and it will balance out when he delves into the emotion in a couple of weeks. And all of this is giving way to a new truth for both of you. And those of you that are in separation, which are most of the audience watching these videos, remember that you're always connected. Nothing severs the connection. And although we may be physically separated and may not be physically in one another's lives, you actually feel each other more when you're not in the same physical space. Think about that. I can prove that. I've been witness to that always in my relationship with my twin flame. And we have now cut our communication. And let me just tell you that in the past several days, wow, like I'm being bombarded with the signs and synchronicities. Because now he's speaking to me through a different language. And let me tell you, that language with the signs and synchronicities is actually a beautiful gift to us. And I want you to think of it this way, and I realized this today. Not only is it an affirmation of the connection so often, not always, but usually those signs and synchronicities are, but it's also a way that we can go back to the magic of it, the love of it, the truth of what it is at the soul level, without all the angst of the 3D, right? And remember, I made a video a while back about signs and synchronicities. It was, I think, the second video on signs and synchronicities. And I said, let go of your resistance to the signs and synchronicities, because you have to receive them like they're magical. Like, this is amazing. Stop feeling like, why am I being tortured by this? You're not being tortured. You signed up for this journey. Do you know how many people haven't reached that level of awareness where they're even receiving any signs? You need to be grateful and appreciative for it. It is the magic of the universe. You're learning a different language. You're learning to expand beyond the 3D. And you should feel very proud of yourself for that. And you need, and I'm sure there is this desire where you do want to shift into this full appreciation, but you feel like you're being haunted sometimes by the signs. But the shift comes from within, and I'm just reminding you to go back into the magic of what that is. And also feel appreciative that when you see those signs, it's not a rehash. They're always from spirit. They're always from your guides. They're always from a higher place. So when you see the signs, you're not seeing the rehashing of the 3D physical stuff. You're getting the higher message usually, right? You're getting that higher, whether it's numbers or initials or like a little tagline on a truck or a car that gives you the message. It's like, I saw a truck yesterday that said, it is what it isn't. It is what it isn't. And I thought, okay, why am I taking a picture of this right now? Well, because I felt like in a way it was trying to say to me, it's not what you think it is. It's not what you think it is. And that's the message for the collective. It's not what you think it is on the 3D, but we can't feel the disappointment of what we think it's not. And we can't hold on to what we hope it is. We just have to be in love and in trust and in the now. And know that love is there. It's expansive. This connection is alive. And the only thing we have to let go of is the 3D physical attachment. So I will leave you with that. I hope that's helpful. And I look forward to chatting with you all soon. Don't forget to check out the website, thetwinflamefamily.com. And I'll see you next time. Okay, bye.